Hey guys, before the rest of this video starts, I just want to say do not harass or interact with this person. While I may joke like I did in the intro, and I'm very upset by the situation, it's not at all my intent to send a mob after them. Joking is just how I cope, and it's not meant to be taken seriously. It's just a meme. However, take this information and use it to block and avoid this person, and do not give them your business. Please also refer to them by the correct pronouns. Even though they kind of suck, it's never right to use someone's pronouns incorrectly, even if they've done something wrong. Now that that's out of the way, hi, I'm Cass. I'm known as Cass Blast on my social platforms. Recently, I commissioned the original fursuit maker of my character Odyssey to get refurbished and fixed up, but unfortunately the deal went very sour. I'd like to come forward with my experience to let you all know to not interact with this maker. Before you click away, I'm just going to do a very short rundown, which will only take a couple of minutes. And then from there on, I'll do a longer in-detail version for those who want to see and know absolutely everything. Here's the short. Fucking Prince on Twitter did not prepare properly for this commission, and it resulted in them underquoting me. This led to Prince to use their own personal money on this project without telling me, and after a certain point began harassing and refusing to cooperate with me on the commission. I had to fight them for pictures of my things after I hadn't seen them for over 10 months, and they were constantly trying to manipulate me by telling me their personal issues. For their privacy, I won't be sharing those DMs, except for things they tweeted publicly. When I finally got my suit sent back to me just recently, he was destroyed. Not only did they basically do no work on him that they had promised, but the work they did do was horrible, rushed, and even led to permanent damage on some parts of my suit. He also smells really bad. I'm serious, I don't know why, but me and my friend both think it's cigarette smoke masked with perfume, though it's really hard to tell. I've emailed them for a refund on this because it's honestly so bad that I can't even wear my suit anymore, and it's clear they barely worked on him. That's the short of it, and all the screenshots and the DM scroll through are linked in the description. It's all in a big Google Docs folder. But if you're satisfied with the short run, you can end the video, because now I'm going to be moving on to the long, detailed version of events. Around August of 2019, I contacted the original creator of my suit and character, Odyssey, who is my main Sona, to have him refurbished for $250. Prince, the maker and artist that this beware is about, quoted me on this price. We decided to meet up at MFF because it would save me money on shipping, and we were both attending. This is where I'd pass off the suit, and I'd also send payment. They told me they still had the same fur used on Odyssey originally, so it'd be the same fur color, and it would also be cheaper than normal to refurbish because they already had this material. They had approximately 4 months to double check that they had these materials before MFF. But in January 2020, after I had already passed off the suit and they had had him for about a month, a little more than a month, they told me that they not only did not have the material required, but they had already torn off his face, making the damage irreversible. They told me it might cost an additional $200 to get the materials needed, and I told them I'd like to avoid that extra charge if possible. This was an early warning flag looking back. Not only did Prince neglect to make sure that they had the materials needed, but they had gone ahead with the refurbish and had altered my suit past the point of no return. But they never brought up this $200 charge again, and I had assumed everything was fine and that the original cost that they had charged me was actually going to be enough. But unfortunately, COVID-19 happened, and there were delays. First with the fur color being out of stock, and second with it, having to be actually shipped out. Prince had originally given me the deadline of before summer, but now it was looking really uncertain. Eventually, however, the fur did luckily come back into stock, and they gave me a new deadline of hopefully before the end of summer. However, August came, and still not much work. Prince then announced around early September that they were moving and canceled and refunded all commissions but mine, and I became their only current customer at that time. They also told me that they were trying to get him done before they moved at the end of September, October. After waiting a while longer, I asked for an update as I usually did, around a month after the previous one. I asked for a photo of all the suit parts as I had seen nothing but the head in 9 months, despite being told other stuff had been worked on. Up until that point, I had never asked for photos. Prince saw this message, did not respond, and chose to post on Twitter about how mad they were with people messaging them. Like I said, I was their only customer. These tweets were about and directed at me. I waited 3 days and sent another message. Both of these messages were really short and had nothing in them that I think could justify triggering this kind of response. But Prince sent back a very long and very rude DM, which was full of way too much information and overall was extremely unprofessional and unwarranted. What triggered this response was me asking them for a quick picture, which in their terms of service is 100% allowed. This is also when they revealed to me that they had underquoted me and were using out-of-pocket money for this project. Before this point, they had not told me, and they were now trying to hold it over me. And they would continue to do so in many future interactions. They called it charity and accused me of abusing their generosity, as well as messaging them constantly and being demanding. I had messaged them in 9.5 months a total of 8 times without them messaging me first. All of this was just general update DMs with no specific requests for pictures, all of which fits their terms of service. After this message, I was stunned and hurt, but I agreed to wait for the picture. However, after 2 weeks, I still had nothing. This whole time, Prince was drawing personal art and tweeting about playing video games and posting pictures of their cat. This signaled to me that they had time to take this picture, but were simply choosing not to. But I was still patient. The breaking point for me was when they said that there was water damage in their workroom. This made me worry something had happened to my suit, so I messaged them again. I couldn't just take their word on this any longer. Prince then finally sent me the photos in under 20 minutes and told me they'd like to cancel the commission unfinished and without a refund. Here things got heated and Prince sent me a lengthy and very personal message about all of their life problems. This is where I had had enough. They had been harassing me in public tweets, accusing me of harassing them, was trying to hold so many things over my head, things that I did not ask them for. I am not their friend. I was never their friend. We were never even mutuals on Twitter. And them using their own money made me extremely uncomfortable, especially because now they were using it to hold it over my head. I told them to finish my suit or to give me a refund, which is in their terms of service, and in their terms of service it states that partial refunds will be given if a commission is unfinished. However, I later realized how big of a toll this whole mess was taking on me. Odyssey is so dear to me, and I was terrified for my suit. And I was also stressed out of my mind from fighting Prince for basic requests. Pictures, basic request, basic maker request. I did cave in, and I said that they could send him back unfinished and without the refund. My only request was for photos of all of my things, all individually visible, and Prince agreed. Things seemed to be almost over, but again, they made me wait for pictures. And again, they were playing video games and taking pictures of their cat on their timeline. I had to fight them for pictures a second time. They even threatened me with an attorney over this. Obviously, it was a poorly thought out bluff, and I called it out as such. As soon as I did, they sent me the pictures in again, just under 20 minutes, and they sent the package not long after, and I had assumed that the ordeal was finally over. But no. Prince purposefully sent me the wrong tracking information, changing the last 2 numbers so I wouldn't know when my suit arrived. I know that they had the correct tracking number because they blocked me the minute the box showed up on my porch. Not only that, but later they attached the correct tracking number to the PayPal transaction. If it wasn't purposeful, it was extremely neglectful, and I really do believe that they did it on purpose, either to spite me or I don't even know. But the worst was yet to come. My suit was destroyed. There's no other word for it. It was unwearable. He was in bad shape before, but now he is just completely ruined. It's like he wasn't worked on at all. The box was poorly packaged, and it actually damaged the ears due to him being squashed in a plastic bag. Everything was tossed in haphazardly with no arrows to point which way the box should be up. It was full of loose stuffing material that I have no idea still why it was there. And the small amount of fixing work that was done was poor quality at best, but a lot of it was just irreversible damage. The feet, I think, need to be completely redone. The soles they glued on are falling off already, and somehow they made the fur come off the shoe inside even more. And they jaggedly cut the fur on the bottom. Very little was done on anything but the head, and almost all of it was bad, with loose threads, holes, and improper rush shaving of the fur and bad airbrushing work. The package itself was a health hazard. There was small bits of fur just everywhere. Faux fur is toxic, and it's very dangerous for our lungs because it's made of microplastic, and there was far from a normal amount all over the place and in the air. I was coughing for quite a while after I opened it. The inner ear fabric wasn't glued down, and when I picked him up by the ears, I felt the seams break. The smell was so unbearable I couldn't breathe when the head was on, and the way that they modified the inside made it hurt to wear. I had paid $250 for them to ruin my suit and send him back to me with some scrap fur. I was ready to move on once I had gotten my suit back, but this was so much worse than I thought it could possibly be, and I was extremely upset. I had to ask Prince for a full refund. I'm pretty sure that they are not going to give it to me willingly, despite the absolute ridiculousness of the situation and the state of the suit. But I still just really do think that I deserve a full refund because it's really bad. The unboxing was done live and can be found on my Instagram IGTV. And that's basically the full thing. Prince also decided to update their terms of service in response to this deal going south, saying they're changing the age to 21 for future commissions. But no matter what age you are when you commission this person, they're going to treat you poorly and then give you back something rushed and unfinished because of their own mistakes. Apparently bewares have been made on Prince in the past, but I've been unable to find them. However, these past bewares that Prince admitted to have having happened before in public tweets, I think it does show that they haven't changed, even though they really need to. And not just their business, but how they conduct themselves, especially to people who are meant to be their customers. They didn't accept any fault for the situation, apologize even once, despite all of it being caused by them. Future Cast Blast here. I just wanted to say that I do feel really bad for everything that Prince has been going through, but none of those bad things happening to them negates the deal that they made with me over a year ago to finish this commission, and they have caused so much stress on me from their behavior and their actions. I think you can tell I'm really upset by this whole situation, like, a lot. And another thing I'd like to add as an update after I had made the script for this video is Prince on their Twitter has been accusing me of being a stalker when I've only ever contacted them on their Twitter, and I sent them an email through their business email that is linked to their PayPal. Those are the only two ways I've communicated with them, and again, it's just like they lie about what they're going through because me emailing asking for a refund after this just mess that I've gotten back is not harassment in any way, shape, or form. It's one email. It's not like I went, messaging them on every single account that they've ever owned ever. Like, I know about them, but they're all linked everywhere. And they're the one who blocked me, on Twitter. So this was my only way of contacting them. It's not a junk email. That was a lie. It is their email linked to their PayPal. But anyway, just another point back to regular me. If they had properly confronted me about the extra charge due to their mistake, we could have avoided all of this. Or better yet, if they had properly prepared and given me a correct quote at the very, very start of the interaction, there would have been no problems at all from the get-go. They also go by Stippling Freak, Goat Flesh, Your Grace, and Goat with an exclamation point. If you see any of these names, it's possibly Prince. All of these details, screenshots of their tweets, and DM scroll through can be found in a Google Doc that I've organized, like I said earlier, in the description. Please spread this video, block Prince, and let others know about this situation. I don't want this to happen to others. The stress has been giving me a headache, and I'm out a fair amount of money with nothing to show for it but $30 worth of scraps and my destroyed fursuit. It was hard even recording this. And the only thing that really made me feel better was making that meme at the beginning. I'm also going to be linking that in the Google Doc if you want to post it around. I'd like to close this off with a thank you to everyone who's helped me through this, with a big shout out to my friend Luis, my friend Vicky, Chris, Elena, Lyndon, and every single person who messaged me with kind words. Thank you for watching, and please be safe when commissioning online.